Okay, all right. Good morning. Time to start streaming again. You know, after yesterday, let's write some async PHP like this. PHP. I've got some things to share this morning after yesterday's disastrous stream, I can say. I've got some notifications here. Nothing important. There's YouTube. Okay. Good morning. Good morning. MMN New Media. Oh, New Media. And Undefnil as well on Twitch. Very nice. Glad you're here. Oh, I had to share it on the Discord, of course. Hang on a second. Ooh. There I am. Pressed some wrong buttons. Navigate. Oh yeah. Oh, hang on. There we are. Yeah. So, I don't know if you were here yesterday. I know Undefnil was here yesterday. So, a couple of news items here. First of all, the rector issue. Oh no, this is the wrong one. The rector issue has been fixed. So that's a good thing. And they were pretty quick in fixing that. So it's really nice. Thanks for that, Samson ASYNC. I don't know. Yeah, really nice. So you see, great things happen. Let's not linger too much in the rage that we had yesterday. Or yeah. Anyway. Good thing that this was fixed. I'm happy with that. Second thing, I also fixed my PHP storm. Apparently, I'm documenting this just in case. So what happened? So in test frameworks over here, for some reason, there was a path to an other autoload file, and it was linking to the test application I use, my tar project, right? And I think that happened because at one point I had tar included in this project or attached to it. I don't know. I don't really understand why it suddenly changed. But I'm glad that it's fixed now. So I can run tests again. Just straight from PHP Storm. Let's see where it works. Yeah, it does. So yeah, I'm happy with that. That is a good thing. So that means that today is going to be super productive, obviously, because all my issues are fixed and I can just focus on the things I want to focus on. I got this issue yesterday. It's just so nice. The title was Compliment, and it said, I really like the way this framework turns out. It is the framework in the PHP space out there for which I'm most excited about, as it allows me to make up the project structure myself. Only thing missing right now is async commands, but it will come, so great job. So yeah, let's build async commands. Shall we do that? Let's try. It won't be done today, but we can sketch some things. Let's see here, async commands. I already have done some thought work on this. So the first important part here is that I used the word queue. Brent is in his happy place now. This is very much my happy place. Yeah. When I initially designed this, I used the word queue because that's what Laravel does with Horizon, and I'm actually not gonna use queue because of reasons. I'll first explain the idea here, and then I'll explain how gonna change it. So yeah, actually I wonder if I have this sketch still. Excalidraw. No, unfortunately. On the other hand, let me let me see. Let me quickly check if it's somewhere else. Excalidraw. It sure is. Hang on. Yep. Okay. Here we are. Yeah, this is better. So here's the idea. In Laravel, you have jobs, right? And they can be dispatched to Horizon or just in sync. And so this is kind of what I came up with inspired by that. We're going to refactor it a little bit. So instead of jobs, we already have a command bus in Tempest. And it works, in my opinion, much better than jobs. Jobs, they are a little bit weird. Like, Laravel jobs. The things I dislike about jobs is, let me see here, job. Where's the job? Class, come on. Job class. Yeah, so the job includes the payload and the handler together. And actually, there was a thing, but now I can't remember actually. Yeah, but I think, yeah, my biggest issue is that it puts everything together here, and it makes, yeah, I remember now. Okay, so you're using the constructor for like the data payload, and then you're using the handle method, which is just like by convention. There's no, well, actually, no, should queue. Let's see if should queue actually has the handle method on it. No, it doesn't. Yes. Now, should, well, I still need to should queue GitHub. Come on. Should queue. No. Oh, it's probably in contracts. Should queue. Yeah, okay, let's check this interface. It doesn't have any methods here. So yeah, that's my problem here. The handle method is used for dependency injection, right? Because you cannot use the constructor for that because it's already used for the data of the job. But that way you cannot have like a proper like interface here. You just have to rely on knowing that this method should be called handle. That's my biggest problem here actually. And Laravel does this a lot, and it just is what it is. You have to know it, or you have to generate commands. You have to use like generator commands to generate the job, because you cannot just make or I cannot. I always find it difficult to like create an empty PHP file, and then just make this file into a job, because I never remember it should be called handle, and like it should implement should queue and use queuable and stuff like that. So with Tempest, I want that to be more natural. That's one useless interface. Yeah. So like I've set kind of a rule in Tempest that it should always be an attribute and never an interface, unless there are actual methods in the interface. So no empty interfaces basically. But I think I break that rule once somewhere, but I can't remember where. So anyway, we already have a command bus in Tempest, and command bus, it looks Tempest PHP. Let's see. Read the docs. Command bus over here. So this is a command. It's a class with a payload. This can be serialized very easily, right? And then there is a command handler, and the method can be named whatever you want. You can have multiple handlers in one class, doesn't matter. What's important here is that the type here, of the first parameter, create user maps to the command, and that it has the command handler attribute. There are still some like things you need to know, but this feels much more natural to me than having an empty interface or having to do like manual mapping. To make sure that like handlers and commands are mapped together. So anyway, I like this. It feels natural to me. It's still magical to some people. That's okay. So what happens when you dispatch a command like this? The handler for that command is like determined, and then it is executed. And there's always one handler per command, right? So because these two things are split, it's pretty simple to like handle this part asynchronously, to handle it in another process. And that's what we want to work on today. There are a couple of steps on doing that. So back to my Excalibur here. So a command is dispatched to the command bus. Command buses also have middleware support. So we're just going to add a queue middleware here that will check whether this command should just be executed right now or whether it should be executed asynchronously. And it's very, very similar to the event bus middleware we made for like the Timeline Taxi website last week or 2 weeks ago, where you check whether with a middleware whether the event should be stored in the database or not, right? So in this case, what we're going to do with this middleware, we're going to check whether the command should be just normal executed or whether it should be stored, serialized somewhere. And that's basically it for this part, because then we're going to have I call it queue manager here, but we're going to rename it. We're going to have a queue manager that's going to, let's say 20 commands are dispatched at once and they should be run in the background. And let's say we have our queue manager configured to have 10 parallel processes. Then we'll just pick the first one from the stack, and it will execute it, and then we'll pick the second one and the third and so on until like everything's done. And it can do that with 10 processes in parallel. That's the idea. Okay. What if you have two handlers for the same command? That's not allowed. With a command bus, that's not allowed. One command maps to one handler. There will be an exception if you do that. There should be an exception. I don't know. Hang on. Command discovery. Let's see. If we add a handler there should be an exception. Hang on. Throw exception when a command for two or more command handlers that handle the same command. Submit. Yeah, it's one of the rules of the pattern, right? And when you have an event bus, an event has multiple handlers. You don't know, but a command always has one handler. And the benefit of pulling the handler and the command from each other makes it so that it's easy to, for example, add middleware in between and do the things we want to do, right? So yeah, you like if you for example don't need async processing, or you don't need, I don't know, a middleware here could be some kind of logging GDPR stuff, for example. That could be a good middleware. And if you have it in your command bus and you model your app with commands, there is some indirection here. There is like multiple layers. It adds complexity, but it adds that flexibility that you don't have to think about like doing logging everywhere you need to. So that's what that is. So there are like a couple of things like steps to this, but what I want to focus on today is this middleware, because that's pretty straightforward, right? And then I want to focus on being able to handle one command like this part over here. And then we're gonna take a look at the queue manager, hopefully. This is the async part, but we need to set some things up before we can do that. Debug in production middleware is my favorite type of middleware, Undef is saying on Twitch. I realized I'm not the only one using Excalibur with light team. Is there a dark team? I don't know. But I use like, oh yeah. Oh, no, thank you. Let's do it like this. But let's not go into the light team rabbit hole right now, because we want to focus on our async commands here. So async commands like this. And all of this code should live in the command bus package. Yeah. And yeah, we're gonna have to do some experimentation here. How do we, first question is, how do we define whether a command should be handled async or not? That's there are 3 possibilities, right? You can have, let's say, you have an async on my command. Like this. You can have it like this. You can also have it on method of public function handle my command, like this. That's another possibility. And then there's also the possibility of doing it my command async true, right? And all of these have benefits. Oh, I should center the text, but all of these have benefits and some drawbacks. This one I don't like, honestly, because now you have to whenever you want to dispatch a command asynchronously, you have to do it. You have to specify this flag. On the other hand, you want a possibility that whenever an async command is dispatched, you want the possibility probably to still dispatch it synchronously. There might be some cases where that's useful, maybe for debugging. Now you could say that you could change that by, we're gonna have some drivers here as well, just like Laravel, to store commands in Redis, in file, database, memory, but we could also have a sync driver to override it and just always have it in sync. That's possible. But yeah, I'm not sure about that. I think this should definitely be possible, and this makes sense as well, and this will be useful in some cases. So maybe we just need to support all 3, but maybe the good thing here is you just start with 1 and see from there. So yeah, let's do that. While I'm saying that, I'm also thinking that, remember how I have this rule with interfaces and attributes, and whenever there are methods, it should be an interface, obviously. Maybe we actually want an interface. I'm gonna go to PHP Storm here. Let's sketch some things out. So we can have async, or maybe async command is clear, and this is an attribute, right? So this is one possibility. We could also have this be an interface, and the reason why an interface might be useful, interface async command, is that we can have public function serialize, and then public static function unserialize, like this. I should rename it to self probably. And I actually think this is more useful. We're gonna provide a trait for it as well, of course, but this will be more useful in the long run, I think. So yeah, even though I like the attribute thing, but we're gonna need a way to serialize and unserialize commands, and we can just use PHP serialize, but then you get into trouble when you have when you change your command classes over time, and then unserializing an old version won't work anymore, and then you end up in you end up with more problems than necessary. And if you have control over how to serialize and unserialize a command, you can just hook into there to handle the edge cases. So I think from a framework perspective, this is actually a little better. It does make this more difficult. So maybe we should just rely on attributes for now. Attribute. Because serialization can be handled in different ways. And maybe we can just treat serialization as a separate concern and like not worry about it. Maybe that's even better. Maybe that's even a better separation of concerns. Okay, let's go with the attribute route. Okay, so we have our attribute here, and then we need a middleware, of course. Async command middleware implements command bus middleware like this, and we're gonna have to check here whether the command has an async attribute. What's going to be your approach to async? Yogurine asks. PCNTL. We're gonna get to that, I hope, but we need like a little bit of setup here. So let's say reflector equals new class reflector command if reflector not has attribute async command class, then we're gonna do something. We're gonna serialize it and store it somewhere, and we're gonna return. So we're not gonna execute it right now, and otherwise we're gonna just execute the command. Okay, so let's say payload equals, we're just gonna use PHP's built-in serialize function here. And you know, if you want to hook into the serializer, you can just implement like the serializer magic getters and like magic methods. So actually the attribute approach is better. Yeah. So we have a payload, and now we want to store it somewhere. Where am I gonna store it? For now, file put contents there, and we'll say stored commands and then we need a name for it. We're just gonna assign a UID to it. For now. Where's UID here? UID. So any preferences? Someone told me UID 7 was good these days. UID. And then we're gonna put the payload over there. Now, of course, what we're gonna add here in the long run, commands git ignore. How do I do that? Everything? Just / everything, I guess. I started, Yogurine is saying here on YouTube, I started a little async library twice. Actually, it's a lot of fun, but also gets very complicated very fast. As a matter of fact, I did as well. Here. So I built this at Spatie, so I know kind of what to do. We'll have to see how it works out. So in the long run, we're gonna like to add a repository here, and then this repository will be configured like to have different drivers. Could be stored in the database, could be stored in Redis, could be stored like on the file system, could be stored in memory. Okay, but like for now, we're just gonna hard code this because we want to focus on the async part, right? So I think this is actually all we need to do to store commands. So let's make a test for it. I'm just gonna write an integration test, which Aiden of course won't like, but we're just gonna do it. Async command bus test, async command test, and we're gonna make one like additional I want this path to be configurable, actually. But yeah, it kind of sucks to have it here. So let's not do that. Doesn't really matter. Let's see. Extends framework integration test case. Yogorin is saying here, oh, I never realized you worked at Spatie. Makes a lot of sense in hindsight. I did. Yeah, I worked there for 5 years. It was really fun. It was a really nice company. Did a lot of open source there as well. And yeah, so I got some experience there. That was like, hadn't done any open source before Spatie. But yeah, I was fortunate enough to be able to work on a couple of things there and learn like a lot of stuff. It was really nice. But then, you know, JetBrains came along and told me, hey, you can be a developer advocate for PHP. And I was like, okay, no more client work. Okay, yeah, let's go. So we have our test here. Okay, sorry. That was a story time with Brent. Test async commands are stored. And let's do here my async command. Let's assign a payload to it. Public string name doesn't really matter, and we're gonna make it async. Yeah. Okay. So that's it. Now we're gonna have to do command. We're gonna have to dispatch new my async command with Brent as a name. Okay, so that should be it. And now the handler shouldn't, well, there is no handler yet, but the handler shouldn't be executed, and the command should be stored serialized on the file system. That's what we want to verify here. So this assert file, well, actually, how are we going to, like, we don't know this UID that UUID, I mean, that we're assigning here, which doesn't really matter because we don't need it. We just need a file name. Could be the date as well, but UID is of course safer. Okay, let's do it like this. Files equals glob. First, let's do the stored path. And again, this will be refactored when, let's see, we need to like go to source Tempest, or what's this? Come on. Command bus. This is also a weird issue here with PHP Storm. It doesn't autocomplete anymore. Also very annoying. Need to make an issue for that. Actually, let's... Okay, I have it on stream. I can reference it. Command bus, no suggestions. It's really, really annoying. Source, where will this thing be? And then stored commands like this. Okay. And then we're gonna grab all the files from stored path. Let's rename this to storage. Oops. Storage path. And let's dump out the files and see what happens here. Yeah, there's no oh yeah, we're first checking whether there's a handler or not for this command, which is like an important step. There's no handler, so let's make that as well. So what we need to do here, like these are auto-loaded, which is it's better. Async command handler. The other directories aren't discovered, I mean, by default. So I'm gonna just move it here and then have an invoke method. Name doesn't matter. Command handler, and it's async command. No, it's no. My async command. It returns void. Let's say handled over here. Okay. Okay, so it doesn't work. And you know why? Because we haven't registered our middleware yet. I just realized that. Let's go to our command bus initializer here. I think command bus config. Can we? We can add middleware. Okay, we can do it a clean way. Hang on. Like this, and then we can say, yeah, over here. Let's say we inject command bus config, like so, and then we say on booted event handler kernel event booted, and we'll say this command bus config add middleware. It is self.class. Okay, so we have our path here, and it should this work? Yeah. Are there two? Oh yeah, of course, because we need to empty it. It's kind of a lot of setup work. But it's temporary, and I just don't want to like diverge too much setup over here. Would have been easier, but private string storage path. I'm sorry for that. And I'm gonna say this storage path, and then we'll for each files as file unlink file, like this, because we want an empty directory with every test run. And then we can do an assertion here. So I'm forgetting something. Oh yeah, .txt. That's what I need to add in my middleware. Again, gonna make this, gonna refactor this. But for now, this is just, we want to try some things out, right? Call to member function get on null. Parent setup. Tihuti, I don't know. That's probably not the right pronunciation. Saying not .txt. No. I want .txt to be removed. Doesn't work. Yeah, because these weren't. So yeah, so this is now a new one. I just want the old ones to be removed. I need to refactor this, but let's not worry about it too much. I just want an empty directory, because now whenever we run this test, we will get ideally 1, and this is what we can assert on. This assert count 1 files, and then we'll also say command equals unserialize file get contents, like this, yeah, and then we'll assert this assert same brand command name. So let's just let's make sure that it's properly serialized, and okay, that works. And we also need to make sure this assert false async command handler, that it wasn't executed. So what I like to do is public static bool is handled equals false, and then we'll say self is handled equals true, right? And now over here, we may need to make sure like my async command handler is handled. Let's reset it here to false. And we need to make sure that it's still false here. So assert false, async command handler is handled. And I'm going to rename this to my async command handler. And that's all good. So that's nice. So we've asserted that the command isn't handled. We've asserted that it's stored on the file system for now. We need to refactor that. So that's really good, I guess. Yeah. Now, let's say we have a stored command here. Now we need a way to execute it, basically. So, what I want is a handle async command actually, console command. But let's just do it like this. This will be a console command. And we'll say string UID. We're gonna need the right UID here. And then this will return void. And this one will, for now, use that hard-coded path. Let's go to our handle async command. We'll say middleware, we can copy that from here, right? Yeah. Payload equals file get contents. Like so, we're gonna unserialize it. Command equals unserialize. Then we'll have to find the right handler and execute the command. And if we have this, then we have a way to execute the command after it's been stored on the file system. And once again, we're gonna have to refactor this to a proper repository, but this is just, that's outside of the scope for now. Okay. So back to our test. Our stored, I'm just gonna, like, this is a massive integration test. Handled afterwards. So what we need to do, we have a stored command here anyway. And actually I need to get a UID here. And that's path info files 0 and then file name, I guess. Let's see. Yeah, that's the UID. That's good. And then we'll say this console call. We need to give it a name here, a proper name. Command handle, and that's it. I think that's a good name. Command handle UID. And let's print out. Let's see what happens here. There should be no output. Oh yeah, we're not doing anything here. Let's dump out our command actually. Yeah, and we have our command here. So that's really nice. And then execute command and remove the command from the storage. Again, something that will need to be abstracted. Okay. So that's really cool. All of that works. Hi, Blackmorth as well on YouTube. Good morning. So finding the right handler, that's done with we're gonna construct. We're gonna inject command handler config. Command bus config. Command private. And and then handler equals this command bus config handlers, and I think it's this, and if not handler, then we'll this error. Oh, let's use has console and inject console as well. Private console, not that console. I don't import, please. This error, yeah, yeah, sure, that's good, and then we'll return. That's like a pretty big problem, but this actually never should happen. But you know, we need to like make sure. Let's dump out the handler then. At this point, there's a problem here. Syntax error. Where? Oh yeah, this isn't allowed. It's a problem with AI generated code. So we have our handler, and then we can just say this, the handler is, how does this work? Set handler. Yeah, it just has this, okay. Then we can say handler call, no. Invoke args, yeah. Oh yeah, we need to resolve the handler from the container. That's what we need to do. Private container. Handler class equals this container. Actually, you know, let's see if we do this. Actually, I can look it up in the command bus. Actually, command bus, generic command bus. Here in get callable. This is what we need to do. So command. Oh no, where's the command handler? Command. Oh. Yeah. Oh. We just need the string. No, the command handler object. Command handler invoke args. Okay, yeah, it is. We're just gonna rename this to comma. Wait. Oh. Oh, come on. Oh, let's just do it like this. Command handler. Yeah, okay, so but this should be, let's see here, we're gonna invoke the args, we're gonna get the declaring class, get name. Okay, this is just a one-liner for what I wanted to do, sure. Execute a command, and then we'll have to remove it. Path for now, again, repository needs to be refactored later. Unlink path. And then let's say this success done. Okay, so this, in theory, we're gonna call it, and we're gonna assert that this assert file does not exist. File 0. That's the full path, right? I think so. Let's see. Yeah. So the file should have been removed, and we'll assert C done. If this works, then we can get to the async part. And it works. Okay, cool. And also we need to assert that it's true now. And it works. Nice. So now we have a way to have my async commands, to mark a command as asynchronous, It will be picked up by the command bus. It will be stored on the file system, and then afterwards you can run Tempest. What's it called? Command handle. Yeah, command handle, and then you need a UID, of course. But good morning, Adele and Charlie, Carlo. Thanks for being here. So, what a great test again. Aiden, if you're watching, don't you like this test? Just everything all together. No, but like one obvious thing is that I need to refactor this to a repository, which will have several implementations, but and like it will have like a find method by UID probably, and a remove method as well, and then probably an all method also, but all at a time. Actually, if we could already provide like a basic implementation, async command repository, find string UID, remove string UID, and then we could also hook in a memory implementation for our tests. It would actually be nicer. Okay, let's try this out. Hey Zunu, you're a first-time chatter here. Thanks for joining on Twitch. And Undef is gonna go to his daily stand-up where, yeah, he'll have a lot of fun, undoubtedly. Enjoy. Yeah, we're gonna do this repository thing because it's gonna be a mess if we don't do it now. So let's say async command repositories. File repository implements async command repository like this, and let's just move some stuff. Let's close our tests for a second. We're gonna have to inject it here. Async command repository. And we're also gonna have to have an initializer for it that eventually uses config, but we're gonna that's why we're gonna hardcore code the file one for now. Async command repository initializer implements initializer like this, and we're gonna return an async command repository here. And for now, we're just gonna return new file repository, but we're gonna have to do refactor to make it configurable. So many difficult words this morning. Zunu, you're asking what I'm building. I'm building an async command handler, basically. Yeah. So what we need to do is payload equals this repository find, and actually let's just make it an object immediately so that we also unserialize it. So we just say command equals find UID like this. So let's go to our file repository here. It should return an object, and it should have this and this and this, and then just return. And is this the right path now? No, I need to go up one, I think. Once again, it's like stored commands uid.txt. Okay, Yo Green, you're also off to your daily stand-up. Enjoy. We also need a store method, of course. Public function store object command string UID, and yeah, should it return the UID? Probably. No, it shouldn't, because we already have the UID. Stupid. Let's pull this up. Let's go to our middleware, because that's also where we'll need to do some stuff here. So we're gonna move this to here, and then yeah, UID generation, we're gonna do it like this, and then like that, and it should return void probably. Void, and this should return void as well. Void. Is that it? And let's see, we'll say I will have to inject it here as well. Private async command repository, this repository store UID, and then command, right? Yep, that's it. And let's do it like this. Good. And then we'll have to implement remove as well. So we have our command here, we get our command handler. If there's no handler, we're going to like complain, and then we'll do this over here, and then we'll say this repository remove UID. Okay, let's rerun our test. It should work. No, but that's of course I did add an initializer for it. Yeah, that also works, yeah. Okay. It was a caching issue. Okay, so the test works. So now we have a repository. Zuno is asking here, the Tempest framework is your framework. You seem to be the main contributor. There are a couple of other, but yes, it's I made it. But now there are a handful of people doing a lot of work on it, and it's gonna be great. If you want to like know more, you can go to tempestphp.com. There you are. Then we have like this nice page, and there are the docs as well if you want to read more. There's a lot of reading to do. So now we have, well, actually now I need to, I want to refactor this to use my test to use the memory stuff instead. That's gonna be better. It's even better actually. Let's see here. Command bus. Let's say we're gonna have a. I'm just gonna do it here. No, should it ship with it? Memory repository implements this, and then we'll say private array. It shouldn't be read only. Payloads. We can just do, we don't have to serialize it, commands. We can do it like this. This commands UID equals command. Return this commands UID, and then unset this commands UID. That should work. Charlie's asking here, what's the public API to dispatch an async command? it's just, let's see here, where's my test? This is better. Async command test. It's just this. But I might actually add a flag here to override, because like there's an attribute here, my async command. But I probably add a flag here to override it. But yeah, okay. So now, what is this? React promise all, go away. Now we can refactor all of this, because what we can do is this container singleton. We're gonna say async command repository class, and then we're going to return new memory repository. Now we can remove all of this, but now we need a way to find the UID. I'm gonna make sure we can still do that, because this is not gonna work anymore. So we're gonna say commands, say UIDs equals, and we're gonna need this anyway. All array should return an also something I might refactor. And so this should return let's see here, glob path to array map function string path, and then we're gonna return path info file name like this. That should return, and in our memory repository we're gonna have to just return the keys, return array keys of these commands basically. Yeah, because now we can do, now we can say what am I doing? This repository, add declare property like so. This repository, now I can do UIDs equals this repository all, and let's see what that does. Yeah, it returns a certain count 1. You can refactor this. Of course, we'll have to do command equals this repository find UIDs 0, so we can change it like this. Oh, we can actually do UID equals UIDs 0. And then file is not this assert empty like so. Okay, cool. Now we still need to test our file repository and stuff like that, but now we have a memory repository for our testing. That's simpler than what we had before. So okay, now we can do the async part. This is the scary part. All of this was just setup work. So we're gonna make PHP asynchronous. First, I'm gonna commit this. Add async middleware and repository. Okay, good. What do we want to do now? Now there will need to be an other command. And this one handle async commands, but I want to rename this to something like, what names did I use here? Q run, but I don't want to use the name Q because I was about to explain that like an hour ago, because we also want to add like real queues with like message queues to Tempest after 1.0, where we can dispatch messages, like not commands but messages, but essentially kind of the same, to all kinds of queues. Could be like, this is for microservices, is pretty common pattern, but I'm not too familiar with them myself. Aiden is mostly into that kind of stuff. Like we want to dispatch messages to different kind of queues, which also have handlers for messages, but could also be external queues like RabbitMQ, stuff like that. Kafka, I think, is also one. So we don't want to use the name queue here because it's gonna get confusing in the future. And I like the name async command because it really it tells what needs to happen very well. So good. Async command. We need a command that's running all the time. Like it's the manager that's gonna span 10 other processes. For now, it will be configurable, and it's gonna handle like all asynchronous commands. It's like gonna dispatch like this one handle async command, console command, over and over again, and it's gonna handle them one by one. So we need a good name, basically. And that's always the most difficult part. So we have a command handle command. Could do something like Tempest command handle all, or monitor, or I'm not sure. Zunu here on Twitch. I went through some of the documentation and this framework doesn't seem to have built-in form builder with CSRF security token. There's an issue for that. CSRF. There is like but form builder, like you should take a look at Tempest View, because form builder is there are some components for there already. You're just gonna build it with Vue components and not have a PHP form builder. That's we don't want to do that. So nothing like Symfony's form type. We're not gonna have that. We don't want that. We want a component-based form builder. So it's just gonna be, and it is already available. You can write what's this? Well, HTML actually. You can write X form, and I think there's X input as well. And like if you do this in the future, there will be automatic CSRF protection. But right now it's like, it's pretty bare bones, not the highest of priorities. But we will work on this before 1.0 to improve it. Yeah, so we need a name basically. Async command monitor. I'm just gonna use monitor for now. Monitor async commands like this, and it's not a construct, although we will need a construct. This is a console command, and it won't have much, if anything, use has console. We're gonna have to inject our hang on, private, because we need a console here, but we're also going to inject our repository, right? And then so this is the interesting part. we're gonna let's first do it one by one, because that's gonna be pretty easy actually. Yeah. So while true, that's our starting point. We're gonna grab all the commands or UIDs equals this repository all. If UIDs equals empty, we'll say this write line no commands, and then we'll sleep for 1 second, and then we'll just do it all over again. Although, like, printing this out, if we're monitor, what did I, oh yeah, command monitor. It's gonna, like, we're not gonna do that. We're not gonna write anything. We're just gonna sleep. And we're gonna write here this success monitoring for new commands. Okay. So this is our queue, This is our monitor and it's running. But when there is a new task coming in, we'll say this. Actually, yeah. So what we want to do is execute a new PHP process, basically. And like there are other ways to do it, but actually, no. I was thinking we can use fibers as well, but that's not the case because we're gonna do blocking stuff in our command handlers. So now we really want to spawn a new PHP process and basically, oh, what am I doing? Why is the terminal here? Go away. Like really execute something, right? This will need to be configurable, but I'm gonna hard code it. Command handle and then UUID. Yeah, we're gonna use PCNTL fork definitely, which is why I want to like spawn a new like use exec for now, but we're gonna do that as a new process. So we need the UID, and that means UIDs equals UID equals UID 0, I guess, always for now. Okay. Actually, let's do pass through instead of exec. Okay, and let's see. So it's running. Not much is happening. Oh, undefined key. Oh, we need to continue, of course. Let's see here. So nothing should happen. Now we're going to add a new command, like a test console command. Dispatch async command. And that should just be construct, no, use has console and invoke. This is a console command. We're getting there. We're nearing the command dispatch. I'll just do it like this. And maybe string name equals Brent, right? And then we'll say command, just new my async command name. Go away. Like so. do async doesn't exist on PHP already? Pratik is asking on YouTube. Yeah. We're gonna implement it. Hang on, we're nearing the moment where we make this async, and we're gonna run things in parallel. We're getting there. Let's make a split right. So we can say command dispatch Brent. Now we should look, it's working. This info dispatched. Oh, okay. Okay, so we're dispatching it here, and our monitor is picking it up there. Fair enough, right? We probably, yeah, sleep one is good. And so we're dispatching, we're dispatching it with pass-through. Okay, now we're gonna make this async. So I need a way to dispatch 10 commands. And we'll do that like this for each range. Let's just do, let's remove this dispatched commands. Okay. So now, yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, and now we want this to happen like all at the same time. Okay. Yogorin is saying, is replying here to do async doesn't exist in PHP already, and Yogorin is saying to Pratik, and not natively, there is fibers and there are ways to do non-blocking things with sockets, but there are no threads in PHP, but it's possible to spawn a separate PHP process, and that's exactly what we're gonna do, right? I just noticed that my my head is in the way. Okay, but so now it's happening in sync, right? 1, 2, 3. Actually, maybe we should. We should like write this line new date time format. Year, month, day, hour, minute, seconds. What does this look like? Huh? Monitor doesn't exist. Why not? I know why. This is, yeah, this is something we need to okay, now we get some more some proper input here, output, I mean. Okay, so okay, let's make this async. This is the final step. Will it work? We're now doing it one by one. We're gonna have to do it like multiple at the same time. I'm going to go to a very old blog post of mine, a snippet where I basically just wrote what I need to copy. But this is such an old process, and there are a little bit more steps to it. Maybe there are some things I can use here. So I should explain it as well. That's gonna be interesting. And Yogorin is saying the only complicated thing is communication between those processes, which is basically what Brent is implementing. True. So but like it's gonna be very bare bones if I even manage to pull it off. Undef Null is back. You survived the daily stand-up as well. So glad you're back, Undef. He's watching on Twitch, but yeah, there are several ways. Like the thing I wrote here was to use sockets, and then you can like send data between processes. But in this case, actually, we don't really want to send that much data between processes. Actually, we don't want to send any data, because the way I envision it, we're running our let's see, no, hang on, handle async command over here. We're running our command and we just assume everything goes well, but we need to do some stuff here, like error handling. But we're all going to do that in the child process, and then our way of communication between the parent and the child will be via the repository. It's a good thing that I implemented it already, because the repository will have to take. We'll have to keep track of some metadata. For example, like how many times we try to run this command. And like after 3 times, it should not be run anymore. For example, that's an example. So our repository will be the communication bridge between parent and child processes. So actually that will be pretty easy. We don't need sockets to do that. What we need to do is we need to keep track of processes, and there will be a max amount. If count processes equals 10, for example, we'll say continue. Well, let's just do it like here. So this is our first safeguard, and we're not gonna, well, let's actually do 5 for now. This is gonna be configurable. So if there are 5 running tasks, I'm gonna rename these to tasks. That's better. If there are 5 running tasks, we're gonna sleep and wait, right? But whenever there is a spot free, so to speak, we're gonna have to start a task, which is like a child process. We're gonna have to start it for this specific UID here. And then we're gonna have to add that task to the array so that we can monitor it. Oh, yeah. This is what we need here. This is that wait function. That's the most difficult part. We'll try to figure it out. This is so long ago. So we don't need the sockets. We just need to use PCNTL fork basically. Yeah. Let's add that to Composer. Although no. What we'll need to do here, sure. This error, yeah, PCNTL is required to run async commands. I think we can just do it like this. Oh, hey, Ajaz. And then we'll say return. All right, we're not going to make it a hard requirement for Tempest, but if you want to run, and I guess, yeah, PCNTL is enabled here, so that's good. Okay, so what PCNTL fork does is it creates a fork of the current process. So basically it will make a copy of the thing that's happening right here, right? So in this child copy will be at the same line of code. The only difference is that when we're in the parent, let's see here. If the process ID equals 0, then we're in the parent, I think. Let's also rename this to process ID. Process ID. That means we're just in the parent process. And otherwise, we're in the child process. If we're in the child process, we're gonna use pass-through and write. But if we're in the parent process, what we're gonna have to do is tasks. We're gonna append the process ID here. Yeah. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna do it like this. This is better. Yeah. But now we need to do a couple of more things here, because the child's process isn't all that difficult. We just need to execute this. But over here, we need to check whether we need to. So yeah, how to explain this? We need to wait basically for all the processes to finish, but we need to, like, if there's more space in our tasks array, we also need to continue our loop. Oh, it's such a mess. So what you can do in here is loop over all the tasks we have as task. Well, as process ID, child process ID. This is such a mess. I'm gonna have to clean it up a lot. And Zunu is saying here, PCNGL is not supported on Windows. True. Yeah, and I don't care. No, it's like, you know, Windows support is like, it should work. We're running all of our test suite on Windows as well, but just some features are not available on Windows. It's as simple as that. Ajaz is saying here, is there a reason for forking the process over launching a separate one and communicating over a pipe socket? Yeah, I want to. Actually, that's actually a good question. That's maybe even simpler, although I haven't really done that before. Can you just launch a new process and make it non-blocking? Because then it's easier than process forks actually. PHP launch non-blocking, proc open non-blocking. Actually, hang on, Symfony process non-blocking. Oh, if that works, then we'll actually probably use just Symfony process. Process run. We're gonna use Symfony process. Okay, forget PCNGL fork. What a mess. Oh no, I needed. Thank you, HS, for mentioning that. And say composer requires Symfony process. Much better. Actually, I knew that this was a thing. Yeah. Okay. That's that will make it easier, I guess. And then our tasks. Let's rename it to processes again. Processes, and let's say var process. No. Process. And Yogorin is saying here, you can also, in case of PCNGL, you can use Linux subsystem or Docker. True. Joris is here. Got a stream notification when I was waiting at the hairdresser, so a bit late, but with a fresh cut. Very nice, Joris. Very cool. Yeah, okay, so no, this is gonna be a lot easier then. Thank you, Ajesh, for thinking along. So, if there are 5 processes, we're gonna have to do some stuff here. This is our wait loop, by the way. Kind of. Yeah. To update process status. If there's room, and like if we have things to do, work to do, and if there's room available, then we'll say process. Symfony process. We'll say this needs to be configurable, of course. Command handle UID. We'll say we'll start the process and it will automatically be run in the background, right? Or will it wait? We'll have to see. None. I think that you had to like do something to make it non-blocking. Jess, tell me in chat if you know it before me. Here. Okay, let's assume it's non-blocking by default. I don't know. If count processes equals 5, well, no, we need to. We're gonna loop over each process here. Just call start, not run. True. Thank you. Much easier. We're gonna loop over all our processes here. If and actually, can we just key, I guess? If process is terminated, we'll unset processes key like this. What's the problem here? Array is always empty at this point. Yes, that's because we need to processes equals process like that. Okay, so that's a kind of backwards thinking, right? But we arrive in our loop. We're gonna loop over all the processes. The first time there's nothing in here, so we're gonna skip it. Then we're gonna say that if the processes array is full, or if there are no UIDs to no more tasks, we're gonna sleep for 1 minute, 1 second, and then continue. So it'll end up back here, and then the next time we're gonna update our process status again. And otherwise, so if there's room, we're gonna start the process. We're gonna start it. We're gonna add it to our array, and that's basically it. Let's see, starting. Like this. Will it work? Well, we'll have to see. No, probably not. But okay, we're monitoring. That's actually like I'm still this. I'm gonna split this. If count, we'll say this right line queue is full, and then we'll sleep for microseconds. I don't know. We'll just sleep for 1 second. Sleep. And then continue. And otherwise we'll say this right line, no tasks, no pending tasks. Right? So, okay, no pending tasks, all good. Let's add our command dispatch. Okay. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Nope. Let's see here. We're starting, we're not updating our repository isn't, we're always starting the same task, basically. And what I also want to do is, can I... What are you? Okay, this is right? Yeah. We're always starting the same task. That's because we're doing this here. Time equals time format year, month, day. I need this to keep my sanity. There was something else here, but yeah, queue is full. I know what we need. Your command should be command handle. Oh wow, whoa! But it's still a problem. But I'm gonna need to hang on. Command handle command. I'm gonna need to do some logging here. And then I'll need like a third split tempest tail. Oh, it's not doing any logging. Oh, why not? I need some output of the process. Process get output. Yeah, I think Symfony escapes the UID, tries setting the std error content if the process fails, and print it /exit. Yeah. The UID must be marked as started because it's that's also what I was thinking. It's we need a way to mark it as started, which kind of sucks because like we're using the file system and there's no real easy way to do that. How are we gonna do that? I think that's a problem as well. I'm gonna go back to the error output, but we need some state management. So file repository, and this would be so easy to do if we use the database or Redis, but we don't. Let's think for a second. Like the easiest way. Function start string UID. Oh, what am I doing? So we could just change the file name or something. Store or move it to another. Exclude array keys. Oh. Yep. That's a good idea, actually. Although we will need state management at some point, but it would be nice if we get this working more easily. Yeah, what we can do, see, we can use the UID here to start a process, and then let's wrap this and then filter function. This is a process string key, and then not in array key, and then array keys processes. And then we should do UIDs array key. Oh, actually, I wrap my UIDs, I can just do UID first. That might be very, let's close this. Let's see. What's the problem? Closure must be of type Symfony process string given. Hang on. Argued one process must be of type. Oh, of course. String UID. Oh, then we don't need the key here, of course. Yeah. Okay. Well, it's doing different things. So I think now is a good time to write some output here. Is that process is key? Let's see. Write line, process, get error output. Something like this. Yeah. So this is we could have been looking for a while. And why is this? Probably yeah, if a process get exit code is not 0, this is nicer. Yeah. So why isn't it using? Why isn't it finding this? Probably because of working directories, my guess. Yeah. Let's try this. Nope. If we run it like PHP Tempest, that works, right? Ah. Yes. Thank you, Ashish. Am I pronouncing your name correctly? Probably not, right? Okay, but this is okay, cool. We're doing things. Yeah, Symfony was trying to find PHP Tempest as a binary. Okay, cool. So we still have to make this configurable, but that's all fine. Now it's looking better. We do have some stored. Don't we have some stored commands here? I actually don't know where all of this is coming from then. Okay. Let's see. Undefined array key in first, right? And what's happening here? Oh, that might actually be a bug. Yeah, if it's empty. Oh. Ah, okay. If is empty, right? But that is actually a bug in the array helper. I should make an issue for that. Calling first on array help on empty array helper throws an error. I haven't written PHP in 8 months, as Yash is saying here. But hang on, are you like? Are you this, Ashish? You are, right? We've talked before, haven't we? I know you from somewhere, but I don't remember. I'm sorry for that. So will it work now? Okay, no pending tasks. This is good. Yeah, and now let's dispatch. Ah, come on. Dispatch. It did some, yeah, okay. It did some work, but now the output is weird, and this is nice. Okay, cool. So where does this error output come from? From here, right? What we're gonna do is error output. I think this just trim error output. Let's try that again. Command dispatch. And it works. That's pretty nice. Let's see here. Let's actually stop for a second. So we dispatched the first, the first 5. And what would be interesting now if in our handle async, my async command handler, let's do a sleep random int 1 and 5 to have some randomness here. Now we should see like, yeah, 1, the next one, 3 at the same time. Makes sense. And now it's done. Cool. What exit code is returned? I can write it here. This success key finished. I'll write process get exit code. Zero. Now let's dispatch some more stuff. I'm so happy, Ashish, you came with the, you mentioned like the process. Why didn't I think of that? That's so stupid. It's a good thing I was streaming. So yeah, this is nice. So let's remove like these parts because we don't like, this is just a lot of spam. And I'm gonna dispatch some more commands. Yeah, and then we'll say this info. Well, I probably need to like start it at something like that. I don't know. Stated. Start. Okay. So, but this is cool. So that was much simpler than I imagined after like the process stuff. No, but there is a lot of fine tuning to do. But I mean, this is great progress. What I need to do now is, yeah, state management for tasks, because like if things fail and stuff like that, like the repository part needs to be very much improved. And I need to write proper tests for this, which is will it be difficult? No. That will be fine. Just a big integration test. We can remove this actually. Yeah, you also get bidirectional communication, but we don't really need that because like the repository is in between, and I'm gonna do all communication via the repository. That's just much simpler, I reckon. But this is really cool. I'm happy that it worked out. Yeah, cool. So yeah, I'll keep you posted. Lots of things to work on still, but this was great progress, much better progress than what I did. Actually, let's. If you were with yesterday's stream, you know that I wrote one line of working code after an hour of struggling. So let's see here. Compare is a draft. And okay, so we wrote a lot more lines of code now. Yeah, but lots of things I still need to add. But this is cool because that is like the most difficult part is actually like done now. I would say now it's just a matter of making it like play together nicely and test it properly, and like improve the repositories like capabilities. And then we'll have like simple but working background tasks in Tempest, which is a pretty important feature. It's not it won't be as big as Horizon, of course, but that's fine for now. Like as I mentioned, we want to look into proper queues in the future, but after 1.0. So okay. Well, I'm glad. What is Truth is here and says, I'm late. Well, we're gonna end the stream, so I'm sorry for that. But yeah, appreciate everyone being here and thinking along. It was really nice, and I'm glad that we got it working. So I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.